Before we begin, since this is a BBC-owned property, I feel the need to point out that the news arm of the BBC has a continuing issue with transphobic leanings in its news coverage. You can find in a pinned comment below various videos from both myself and other YouTubers covering this issue. And while I understand that the Doctor Who creative team is not responsible for this, I will continue to point this out for as long as it remains a consistent issue. Thank you. It really is starting to feel targeted, the release of these things, just to mess with whatever else I've got going on. I don't know for certain what day I'll get this out, but I am in fact recording it on Christmas Day. Davies, stop messing with me. Or at least do something in your next tease that makes it clear you're targeting me in specific. Then I'll know you're just trying to piss me off. Anyways, we have a teaser for the 60th anniversary. Now, depending on how this goes in terms of copyright claims, because BBC is weird and wonky. They have a tendency to claim things over 10 seconds. Trailers, they'll sometimes let go. This entire thing may end up on the main channel. The immediate reaction may end up in the break room, and then more thorough thoughts on the channel. I don't know. BBC makes my life hard too. And also they suck for other reasons, which you saw at the front end tag. But in any case, let's take a look.
Sometimes I think there's something missing.
I bet you do, Donna.
Like I had something lovely.
Okay, that hurts.
And it's gone.
Oh.
I don't know who I am anymore.
The show is just beginning. Worldwide premiere.
What are you up to?
Who are they?
Monsters.
I don't believe in destiny.
Was
but
that Beep
if
the
destiny
Meep?
exists, then it is heading for Donna Noble.
Did they actually pull that trigger?
If she
Whoa.
ever remembers me, she will die.
Right, we are holding to that.
He's not there. You can't see him.
Alvy! Someone tell me what the hell is going on here?
I would like to know. I would like to know that too. So,
Don't forget to click below to subscribe.
wow. Oh, it's so weird hearing him say that. Okay. So it is, as most teasers tend to be, light on specifics, but there's a couple things we can glean here. Donna does have that sense that something's missing. That's not a total shock. There were small moments of that, and Wilf kind of talked about it in The End of Time, where he noticed, like, sometimes she gets this look. So that's not a completely new thing. The idea that part of her not necessarily remembers, but she knows something's missing. Which, first of all, ow, right in the feels. Ha! So there's that for starters. And yeah, that really looked like Beep the Meep. So if you aren't deep into fairly obscure Doctor Who lore and or missed when this became a big thing in the discourse of things like Doctor Who fandoms on Twitter, back when Twitter wasn't a raging dumpster fire at all hours, Beep the Meep is a cute and cuddly and furry and big-eyed creature originating from the monthly comic strips that were in Doctor Who Monthly. And so far as I understand Beep the Meep, because I looked into him a little, which is why I recognized him. Like, I'm not deep enough into lore to have recognized him if he hadn't had like conversations had about him, because people were joking that he was going to show up in this. I can't remember now if that was actually based off anything or if people were just randomly joking about it. To my understanding, Beep the Meep is actually a bit villainous, or at least at the very least not trustworthy. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. If I were to guess, that's going to be a small Easter eggy kind of appearance. I fully expect that Neil Patrick Harris's character, which I feel like we can fairly safely assume is the Celestial Toy Maker. At least that's what I'm going to assume until proven otherwise. I think we can still assume he's going to be the primary villain, especially because, all right, how am I going to put this? Given that they are tipping the hand that Beep the Meep is in this, and RTD should be savvy enough of how the fandom tends to operate, that they would have recognized him, and even the ones who didn't want, they would have caught on because it would have spread amongst the fans, and then people would realize, oh, not normally trustworthy. So having Beep the Meep end up being villainous would only have worked if he was not in some way hinted at, shown, or teased prior to the release of the special. I think within that, it could have worked if he just showed up, because then whoever didn't recognize him would be surprised. But now there's enough time for everyone to figure out who the heck that is, except for people who go way out of their way to avoid spoilers. And I'd say, bless you folks, but you're probably not even watching this if you're that dedicated to it. So my assumption is that he's going to be covered as a very minor note, or possibly even just as the cold open. I don't expect him to get a ton of time. We get the exact same glimpse of Ncuti Gatwa, which works as a punctuation on the trailer, especially as a closing note for, the doctor being like, I don't know who I am anymore, and doctor being like, who is that person? And her mother, be like, you can't see him. And just in terms of I'm tired. It's Christmas Day. In terms of the build of the trailer, building up to Ncuti Gatwa going, what the hell is going on here? I'm doing the accent wrong. Forgive me. But, building up to him doing that, that definitely works. It is still a little bit disappointing that it is the same clip that we've already seen of him. So if they were going to show him again, I wish we would have seen a little more. But then again, I suppose it's probably best not to oversell his presence in the 60th, given that presumably he will appear either only at the very end of these specials at the point of regeneration, or possibly be hinted at prior to that. And it's probably not something that should be overemphasized, because then you run the risk of basically having shown nearly all of his screen time in just the trailers. So I both get and am disappointed by it being the exact same clip in the exact same line. Yeah, Donna hit me in the feels really hard. It was interesting seeing her mother again. I have mixed feelings about her mother. Not as a character. I don't think she's a bad character. I mean, as a person, she's not a great person, and she certainly hasn't been a particularly helpful or supportive mother to Donna. She loves Donna. I don't think she doesn't love Donna, but her love is, I don't know, slightly acidic. They haven't shown Wilf yet. They seem to be holding back for that, which, depending on how much he appears in it, again, might be preserving, that, or maybe even saving it for later teases, because that would make sense as a build. Because our first very little tiny clips and glimpses were Tennant, Neil Patrick Harris, and Ncuti Gatwa, and now we're getting a little bit more of Donna, a little bit more of her mother. We get a glimpse of Rose, this new character named Rose, who we don't really know the deal with yet. We get Beep the Meep. We get these insectoid-looking things, which might be something. Somebody with a more thorough knowledge of Doctor Who monsters will probably identify those. I don't recognize them. But, we're getting these more glimpses, but if they're, we're still a ways off from these airing. So it would make sense to hold back some stuff until further teasers. I suspect that truly the only reason that this was released now is to have something go out on Christmas, because Davis has expressed his desire, to really have Doctor Who be a major part of the holidays again. And given that there is no new episode to air for not even just for Christmas, but for holidays at all, not even a New Year special this year, this is, I suspect, kind of the substitute for that. Otherwise, I think this trailer would have come out some months down the road, but they're still going to need to do some new trailers later on to build up to the actual release. And I think waiting on Wilf till later trailer would make a lot of sense. So I expect later trailers are going to clarify a little bit more about Neil Patrick Harris, who he's playing, if not what he's up to. Show us Wilf. Maybe give us a little more sense of Rose. It depends. It depends on how much RTD wants to give away in advance, and or how much of this is a misdirect, because he's kind of known for doing that too. But we'll see. As a trailer, as a minute-long trailer, it is solid. It's a solid piece of work. It has me intrigued. It adds in enough new elements that it's not having me going, yeah, okay, no, this tells me nothing new. This does tell me some stuff new, but also not a ton. I don't know everything that's going to go on, especially given that there are 3 specials. And I'm right now presuming that most, if not all of the clips we have seen are only going to be from the first special. That's my own assumption. That's not based on anything. I have no insider knowledge. That's just my own assumption. And hope. Because I've mentioned this before in general. I'm the kind of person who, when I see something in a trailer, part of my brain doesn't fully relax until we've gotten to see it in the thing. Which does mean that sometimes things fully not showing up in trailers actually really irritates me. Just in terms of part of my brain never relaxes. So if only for that reason, I'm hoping, like maybe the Ncuti Gatwa clip, but I'm hoping as little as possible, ideally none of the rest of it, is actually stuff from later specials, because it's, part of me will never relax watching that first special if there are chunks of footage like, oh, we still don't know what's going on with all the, but that's a me thing. So yeah, it's a pretty good piece. And despite this disrupting my day again with these little drops, I am smiling. So it's obviously doing something right. I like the tone of Tennant's doctor. I like that he is unsure, that he is on the back foot, if only because a big part of his persona during his era was swagger and confidence. And like many of the times when that was shaken up was some of the best stuff. Midnight. I know it's something a lot of folks like about Waters of Mars. I'm not as hot on that one as other people, but like when it's there, it's really interesting. When he's not so confident, when he's not so, oh, I am very good, and all of that. When he's less sure of himself, interesting things happen. Not necessarily better things inherently, but if we've only got him for a short time, especially to start, I would like to see him unsure, questioning, not fully confident, because that's something that can build over the special, so that by the time Tennant wraps up this short run regeneration, he can get back to that confidence. And in my mind, ideally, be far more accepting of the regeneration. And that could be his own little mini arc across these. That starting out so unsure, because he was supposed to be done, and now he's back, but he doesn't know why. And to have him go through whatever the adventure is and build that confidence back up. But with that, not necessarily the arrogance that led to his little temper tantrum at the end of Time Part 2. That's like, the funny thing is, this wasn't an expectation I had before. This is one I've kind of talked myself into. That's kind of what I would like to see. I don't do this often. I don't generally do the this is what I want to see thing. But as far as an arc for Tennant's character, I would like to see him unsure, gain confidence, but also be accepting that he is not here to stay this time. Yeah. This thing must be doing something right, because it's not theorizing, but I am placing hopes, which I generally don't do. Partly because my brain doesn't really work that way most of the time. But also just because, you know, you place expectations on it, you can get let down, but I can't help it. It kind of happened. I am excited. And like, I'm on the record as Tennant being a middling Doctor. Like, he's good, but I've got a lot I prefer over him. But I'm still real excited for this. Dang it, Davies! Got me again. What did you think of this trailer? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon. It's what pays the bills, and sometimes means I have to stop my holiday in order to jump on stuff. But, you know, it helps ensure that I can eat and have holidays and, you know, take care of my family and all that. Any amount you can give is great assistance, even if you can't do that. Like, share, subscribe are huge helps. There's links to other things I do down in the description that help me out. But don't worry too much about that. I don't know what outro to do because this will either be in the main room or the break room, depending on what the copyright does. We'll do the main outro. What I want you to remember, whether this goes out on Christmas Day or the day after, I want you to remember that you are beautiful, you are valid, and you are loved. You are the council. I'm just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned. End of the video, so I got to shout out my top patrons. Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfulla, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Oliver B., Angus Bjarnason, Melinda Walters, Imudelki, The Oath of Boyd, Katoria, Toy Lowly, Becky Sparks, Fernambulax the Poodle, Zach, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Tim Price, Adam R.D.L. Taylor, Shayla Gourlay, and Brendan LaRose. Thanks for your support. If you want to hear me probably mispronounce your name as well, check out the rewards on the Patreon. How you doing there?